So going back and rewatching Mega Beatman's review of the final issues of the Iron Dominion arc back in 2011. These are reviews he actually did in 2017 and around 2017 and 2018, I should say. Going back and rewatching those, one question really stuck out to me, kind of got me thinking. And that is basically in 211, Lien-Da, who was an original creation of Ken Penders, and who is going to obviously play a major part in the Lawless Chronicles whenever those get, off the ground. Lien-Da tried to, I guess you could say, stage a coup. She had planned it out, and when she felt the time was right, tried to initiate a coup where she would be the one to take control ultimately of the Eggman Empire. However, as we see in the thumbnail and throughout this video, that did not go according to plan. It did not go according to plan. Sorry for the pause there, I was trying to correct my wording. But like I said, it did not go according to plan, and she suffered the consequences. Now, true, Eggman did revive her, but the catch was that he still kept the bomb implants within the cybernetics of the Dark Legion and made that pretty much, I guess you could say, an upgrade in design from his point of view when basically anybody would be legionized to be part of his Dog Egg Legion chapters across the globe. Basically when someone joined up with him, and they were legionized, the catch is part of the legionization would include a bomb within them that would activate whenever there was treachery abound. And one of the catches that was left unresolved when it came to the original continuity of the book was Bunny Rabbit going off to Uncle Beauregard to get legionized, not realizing that, well, actually realizing, I should say, but not truly thinking about it at that moment, that upon being legionized, she was going to allow herself, to pretty much be a ticking time bomb anytime she was about. Anyway, to get back on point here, Lien-Da basically paid a price during her first attempt, and Eggman basically reassured her that if she tried again, she would suffer the same consequences, if not worse. The only catch, along with that catch, is he didn't put a Newell overrider in her to try to control her. All he did was say, hey, the one thought of treachery, you go boom, kind of deal. Anyway, that brought up the question of, the question of Lien-Da, in my opinion, of, why didn't she get a clue? And what I mean by why she didn't get a clue is throughout her entire existence in the book, and I'm pretty sure, not too sure, but pretty sure Ken might attempt to continue this in the Lawless Chronicles. Why didn't she pretty much get a clue, get an understanding that no matter how hard she tried, she was never meant to be a true leader? Like, yes, she did temporarily get an opportunity to lead the Dark Legion as Grand Master or Grand Mistress, but it was always under somebody else's watch. Whether it was the Iron Queen with the Iron Dominion, or Dr. Eggman when he rechristened them the Dark Egg Legion, and so on and so forth. Or even when her Uncle Dimitri was still basically in control, even though he was a floating head, she was always looked at as somewhat of a second in command. Even under other people that assumed the role of leader in the Dark Legion, she was in that position. So why didn't she get the clue? Why didn't she, get the wake-up call that, Lien-Da, you're just meant to be a subordinate, a second or third in command, and that is all? Well, it's quite simple. She's kind of like what I would refer to and others would refer to as the Starscream of the comics. And what I mean by that is this. If you're a longtime Transformers fan like I am, you know that from G1 to the present day, Starscream in one incarnation or another has always tried to usurp Megatron for leadership of the Decepticons. I mean, even when Megatron was modified and reborn as Galvatron in the movie, and Galvatron basically blew the living crap out of him, in the movie, that still did not deter Starscream from wanting to take control. Starscream came back as a ghost and would possess any Decepticon or even Autobot to obtain his goal. He even went as far as to con Unicron into resurrecting him once more so he could try to obtain that goal. All times, which I should point out, failed him in the long run. Like even after he was resurrected by Unicron, he basically got blasted along with Unicron's head back into orbit, and Galvatron and the other Decepticons, seeing him floating through space, basically killed him once again. But that did not deter him, because even with Beast Wars, he came back and possessed Waspinator, and so on and so forth. Every different incarnation of Transformers, whether it was animes, that were brought over from Japan here to the US, whether it was comic books, maybe even movies to an extent, Starscream was always viewed as someone that wanted to usurp, wanted to stage a coup against Megatron and take control. Because he felt he was more suited for it. And Lien-Da, believe it or not, falls into that category. And the reason she falls into that category is because of the fact that any time she would try to stage a coup, anytime she would try to even consider or attempt a usurpness, it would somehow backfire on her. Now, there were times that, like I said earlier, she would succeed. Where she was viewed as somewhat of the figurehead of the group. Because of the fact that Dimitri, even though he was still looked at as the leader, was in no physical condition to really do much, being a floating head. So she was kind of like, his speaker, if you will, his mouthpiece for the Dark Legion, until she basically waked up and realized, hey, he's just a floating head. I should be assuming command right now. There's nothing stopping me. So basically, looking at the opportunity, she convinced her uncle to help her get the new overrider that the Iron Queen had put in her to control her overridden, so that she doesn't try to control her, and then use this opportunity to try to usurp the Iron Queen, which again, like I said, backfired in the worst way. But getting back to the point of the video, you have to wonder, why didn't she get a clue? Why didn't she get that wake-up call of, yeah, you're not meant to be a leader, Lien-Da. You're meant to be a second, third in command, if not a subordinate. That is your role. Again, she is basically, viewed as the Starscream of the group, not the group, but of the comics. Period. No matter, what faction, she would be part of, no matter who she'd be associated with, on the villainous side of things, her role was always meant to be that subordinate, second and third in command. And quite honestly, she hated it. Just like I said, in Transformers, Starscream did not like being second in command or subordinate to Megatron. He didn't like it. Now, thankfully, when Mobius 25 years later was first published by Ken Penders, or Ken Penders first wrote that interpretation of Mobius 25 years later, it looked like Lien-Da had pretty much gotten the clue. It looked like she had pretty much, woke up and realized that her destiny was never meant to be leader. And that later on she had settled down, obviously met somebody, had a son, and looked like basically she was kind of on the side of good, but not entirely. Like basically she'd been more, I guess you could say convinced that this is the winning side, so you could still be yourself somewhat, but it's more rewarding on this side of the fence than the other, and that might have been what convinced her. And of course having a child also was one way of doing it too. And you can kind of see that in the original Mobius 25 years later storyline. Unfortunately, when Ian Flynn came around, that was flushed out the window, if you know what I mean, or flushed down the toilet. But yeah, it seemed like with the original incarnation of the story, she had woke up and got that clue, finally. But that does leave one more question, and that question is, would she have finally truly succeeded? Would Lien-Da finally have achieved her dream to be a true supervillain, like she had always wanted to? And I would say, yeah, I think so. Because once in a while when it came to Transformers, no matter what the incarnation was or media, Starscream once in a while would succeed. He would achieve ultimate power, only for it to basically backfire on him, bite him in the ass, if you will, in the end. Excuse my language, God. But bite him in the rear in the end. And basically, he would suffer the consequences. But with Lien-Da, I kind of see her achieving her goal. I believe, in my opinion, my opinion, that either Ken Penders or Ian Flynn, one of the two, would have had Lien-Da achieve her destiny in her mind of finally taking control. Like, I believe they would have put her into a situation to where she would have basically staged a major coup. A major coup on the Eggman Empire from within or from without. She would have staged a major coup to where she would finally not only show that she's a true threat to not just Knuckles and the floating island, but also everyone, including Eggman. I think she would have gotten that opportunity, somewhere down the line. But unfortunately, it didn't happen because one, Ken Penders was off the book, and two, the book, well, Ian Flynn was writing it, came to an end, not once but twice. The original continuity coming to an end because of course, the lawsuits behind the scenes, and thus that caused any potential for, Lien-Da under Ian Flynn's penmanship of getting her opportunity to shine going out the window. But yeah, I truly believe she would have had the opportunity to prove that she is a true supervillain by either staging a true coup, usurpness within the Eggman Empire, if it was under Ian Flynn's penmanship, or staging a massive, coup, if you will, invasion on the Eggman Empire, as well as the rest of the world, kind of like doing an ultimate takeover kind of story arc under Ken Penders' penmanship. So either way, that's under Ken's penmanship and Ian's, the two different scenarios proving that she is indeed a real threat. But, either way, I truly believe she would have gotten her opportunity. Unfortunately, it never came to be because of several reasons. But besides that, but besides that right there, in closing, if we look at just the main story as a whole, again, we have to wonder, was Lien-Da ever going to wake up and get the clue that she was never meant to be a true leader? That's a question I would have loved to seen answered, and maybe some people down the line can answer that question for us. But what do you guys think? Do you think Lien-Da would have ever woke up and got that clue of, hey, you're not meant to be a leader, that you're just meant to be a second or third in command subordinate? What are your thoughts? Let me know down below in the comments section, as well as in the live chat during the premiere. Like the video. Super chats and super stickers will be enabled during the live chat of the premiere as always. And super thanks afterwards will be incorporated as we speak. Also, after the premiere, that is, as we speak. And also check me out at Venmo at Brian-Warmer-2 and at Cash App at BW Roses. BW Roses 98, that is, at Cash App. Also check me out at TikTok at BW Roses. And check me out at patreon.com/BW Roses. But again, guys, let me know what your thoughts are. Do you think Lien-Da would have ever gotten the clue that maybe she's just not meant to be a leader? What do you think?